This video is to put out there information. I mean, I've touched on this in other videos, but I'm going to touch on it again. I'm going to tell an example. I called Covenant this Friday to schedule a procedure. It's very important that I get this procedure because it's been an uphill battle to try to get it between Ann Arbor, the Saginaw VA, and Covenant to get everybody on the same page and to get my questions answered, because this is a procedure I had to be put under. And I generally don't have a good experience with that. Evidently, I'm not supposed to be in this world because every time I've been sedated, beyond just like a twilight, they call it, anything beyond that, I always have a hard time coming back every time. I've been put under about 4 times in my life, other than twilight, 4 times. I always have a hard time coming back. But, I mean, that being said, I just wanted my questions answered. That way I can prepare. I don't operate out of a place of fear. I never have. But I just want to be prepared and know what to expect. And also to bring up, things for the surgeons to consider, before we book a, I don't even think it's in an operating theater. I think they can do it. There's a special facility they've designed for these procedures. But so we're not in an OR. But and they told me that their answering service answered, and they said, yeah, you'll have to call back. I'm like, why? Because this particular department's closed at 11:30 on Fridays. I'm like, why? Oh, they have a half a day. I'm like, what? We're not in the Middle East. Even if you're in Israel, 2 to 3 hours before Shabbat, before sundown, that's when people leave. They don't take half the day off. I'm like, what? And they're like, well, they close at 11:30 on Fridays. And I'm like, I heard people talking and joking in the background. So I'm like, is this really their call center? And she said, look, you'll have to call back. I'm like, oh, so they don't even take messages. So I hung up. I called back again. And a different person answered. And they said, this is the answering service. And they're closed on Fridays at 11:30. So I'm like, this has to be fake. But the person's like, no, you'll have to call back. And I'm like, this is crazy. The scheduling department is closed. And it surprised me they don't have centralized scheduling, but the entire department's closed. So then I called the VA to talk to my provider, which never happens, but I'll at least talk to somebody on that particular team, or maybe somebody in that department. And I got the same call center, same voices. So I'm like, I brought this up to the person I was talking to. I'm like, why in the heck is Covenant using the same call center as the VA? I'm like, this is proving what I've been saying all along. And the lady didn't say a word. She didn't want to address it. She said, I'll write down, a message for your provider. I'm like, this is wrong. I don't agree with this. I'm like, this crosses so many boundaries. Why is the VA using the same call center as a medical, I think it's a medical group? She wouldn't answer my question. It is wrong. It crosses so many boundaries. It gives bad people so much power to weaponize medical care. So this is just something to consider. There's only two options here. Either I'm being simulated, or Covenant and Vet Connect, the Saginaw VA, that's their call center spinoff. They don't use My Health Vet. They have Vet Connect, an entirely different contractor. And some of those people are mean as a rocky cliff above the cold ocean. They are just nasty, cutting, biting, abrasive. Some of those people. Not all of them, but several of them at this facility. And I don't know, because it seems that some of the people who answer phone calls are disappearing. And I think the new building, I think there's a call center in there. That's my theory. Because there's more cars in the front of the building than the back. So that says to me it is not it's not a normal medical facility. So that being said, where did the money come from for that? Why wasn't it given to veterans? Why are veterans like me, when our claim is finally processed and finally adjudicated, now we're at the point where we can start fighting it out in court, and they can't add 1 + 1, and they shortchange you several $1,000s, not caring about your family. So why are they building a new call center, if I'm right? And I think I'm right. And I caught them. Why is the VA using the same call center as Covenant? Why? That crosses so many boundaries, and it's wrong.